Hello, how are you? So, finally, I'm making this video. I want to discuss Legally Blonde. I think everyone has more or less seen the movie, if not the actual movie, maybe through YouTube shorts because it's all over YouTube. Like, if you have watched clips of movies, English movies, on YouTube, then you have probably watched at least one clip of Legally Blonde. Uh, it could not be like that, I don't know, but I feel like that because everyone that I've spoken to about movies, they have seen at least one clip of Legally Blonde. So I assume that you have seen the movie too. This video is going to be full of spoilers because I will not review it, I will discuss it, as I said. And I want to discuss it because I thought I had seen the movie from the clips and I just wanted to watch it completely, in the whole format and not through short bits. But when I watched it, I was mind blown. I knew the whole plot and yet I got surprised. So, if you are someone who has seen the movie and even know the main plot and what is going to happen just from YouTube shorts, trust me, I am telling you, you have to watch the whole thing. And I'm telling you, it's not going to be disappointing, it's not going to feel boring. The movie is like that. At least in my opinion, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And every scene that I saw, I had kind of seen it from YouTube, but still, the whole thing put together. And there are so many things actually that are not on YouTube, I think. There are so many parts of the movie. And when a movie is made, the continuity matters, the way the scenes are put together, side by side, in a sequence. The sequence matters. So when you watch it from start to finish without any cuts, you understand the significance of the events, you understand the basically you enjoy it. Okay, it is good entertainment, and more than entertainment, it portrays some amazing things that I want to discuss right now. Okay, so first of all, when the scene starts, we see elle's friends, the group of girls who are all doing their thing, and we see that elle is so celebrated and so appreciated by her friends. She's treated so well, and she is so in love with Warner. She thinks that she is going to get proposed, but instead, she gets broken up with. Now, this is all the thing about the plot, but what I really liked and at first thought was too much was Elle's reactions. She seemed so enthusiastic and excited all the time. At first, it was kind of annoying, and I thought that this is so exaggerated. Why would they do this? But then, as a movie progressed, and as Elle goes to Harvard, and there the people are so cold, not at all like her friend group. People are less excited, everything is more mundane, and the contrast seems so intentional. It made me feel like this is probably like uh, this is a symbolism of Harvard being the real world and Elle and her friend groups being this almost ideal, beautiful society, And Warner is a consequence of that real world where we are cold, we are hostile, and we don't express our emotions. And in an ideal society where Elle lives, everyone treats everyone with so much appreciation. Everyone treats each other well. They are so supportive of each other's decisions, and they're all, when they have some emotions, they express it. And that, you know, I really liked that. At first, I thought it was exaggerated, but then I really liked that. And I remembered concepts of psychology that we had to study this semester only. Emotional regulation. You know, what happens in the real world is we don't know how to regulate our emotions. We don't. Like, in general, I'm talking about. Obviously, there are exceptions. But since I have also grown up in this world, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people will understand, we are not taught exclusively that if you feel this emotion, then you have to regulate it like this, and you have to react this way. We just kind of observe our environment and learn the standards of society, that what is okay to do and how it is okay in the eyes of others to react. We just kind of internalize it, and that's the way we react throughout our lives, okay? So we don't really know how to regulate our emotions. I say this because if we knew, then violence wouldn't be an issue. And I say this because violence is a result of not only one's mindset, but one's inability to regulate their frustration. And it's, and I should mention this, that if someone is happy and then they're violent, then uh, that is a case of exception, okay? So, if we live in such a violent society, a violent world, then one can confidently say that we don't know how to regulate our emotions, especially anger, especially frustration, aggression, rage. We don't know how to control is the wrong word, regulate all these. And I think most of the time we are taught to control these emotions. That's why I mistakenly said it. But control is such a wrong word to use for emotions. Emotions are not machines that you can just control, like using switches, You can just be like, oh, switch this off, switch this on, switch off fear, switch on happiness. That's not how it works. You can't just forget about bad things and be happy all the time. Emotions are not elements that can be controlled, they have to be regulated. They will, feelings, feelings, they will arrive, and you have to know how to approach them and deal with them and work with them. You can't just control them. I really like about Legally Blonde is Elle reacts in a way where she completely expresses her emotions without harming herself or harming anyone necessarily. She might seem like she's too enthusiastic and she exaggerates her reaction so much, but she's actually expressing her emotions well, and she's regulating them, and that just seems so odd because in the real world we don't do that. Really liked that about the movie. And since we're talking about, regulating emotions, you have to also, one has to always mention coping, which is when something really stressful happens, then you do something so that you can cope with that and handle the stress. So we also see Elle using a really bad coping mechanism when she gets broken up with. She thinks that if she goes to Harvard, studies really hard and becomes someone from, who fits the standard of Warner's family's requirements to, be a part of, to be a member, then she will be enough and she will win the love of her life, as we all know. So, this is a coping mechanism. When Warner broke up with her, she was badly heartbroken, and it caused a tremendous amount of sadness and stress to her. So, to cope with it, she studies, and all these that we see that she's working really hard and going to Harvard. All this is really good, but one must always remember the reason why she did all that. Maybe she will make a wonderful lawyer in the future, and she is cut out to be a lawyer. But it's important to remember that the reason why she went there was not a healthy way of thinking. She thinks that she has to basically change herself, and there's something wrong with her, which is why the breakup happened. This method of thinking is wrong because it's self critical, and it basically shifts any kind of blame to oneself, which is incredibly self destructive. And I'm not criticizing the movie, actually, I'm appreciating it, applauding it, because the movie intentionally showcases this. And at the end, Elle proves that she has changed her mindset when she refuses the offer given by Warner. Really liked that. Oof, his face was. Oh god, okay. So at the end, when she gives the speech, and she says, "You have to have faith in yourself." This is where we know that she has finally defeated that feeling of not being enough and that there's something wrong with her, and then she has to change something about herself. She says, "Have faith in yourself, believe in your abilities, believe in your worth." And I really liked that the way the movie ended, because it showed that this negative way of thinking and this self harming, self destructive way of thinking has been defeated. So I really liked that. And what other things did I like? So, yes, of course, there's a lot going on, you know, a lot of uh, feminist things. I did not know how to put it, so I just said feminist things. But it was like, you know, it showed how the that guy, I forgot his name. Oh no, uh, Callahan, I think it was. Yeah, he tried to, take advantage of Elle, and Elle did not take it. These things happen in the real world. Elle did not take it. I have phrased that wrong. I'm so sorry. Like, Elle did not let him take advantage of her. But in the real world, often happens that they are just blackmailed into, basically doing something against their will. And not everyone is in the position of Elle. Elle was coming from a family which is financially stable, even, upper class, I would say. So she had the resources and facilities to not allow that to happen. But not everyone is in a position to do that. So these, people in positions of power like Callahan take advantage of vulnerable people and exploit their abilities and exploit them. And it happens in the real world, and it's so sad that we live in a world like this. I like that they showed this. Not everything is, beautiful, and you can't just be amazing at something and just get rewarded. And not everything is straightforward. That's what I mean. I like that the movie showcased the realities. And I also liked that girlhood is shown so beautifully. And when Elle is sad, she goes to a salon for manicure or pedicure. And I like that they have portrayed that place in such a glorified way almost. Because normally we see a lot of jokes being made around women, and that they take so long to get ready and they do all these things for nothing. But it's not even true that all these things are for nothing. That's not true. When women do makeup and women do pedicure and manicure, they paint their nails. It's not only about looking good, it's about bonding. It's about spending time with each other, listening to each other's stories and worries, and consoling each other. And it's a place where you can express yourself, express your emotions, and you can, it's a safe environment. I like that they showed this so clearly. It was, I felt really good watching the movie. And these are just some of the elements that I liked. Um, I also like that Elle becomes friends with uh, that girl. Oh my god, I forgot her name. Kensington, I think it was. Please forgive me if I forgot. I am really bad with names. I don't know why I can't remember them. Warner's fiance. I like that she became best friends with her and basically forgot about him. Like, that's the way to go. They both realized that they both were in love with a bad guy. So, yeah, I really liked that they became friends. Yeah, these were most of the things that I really liked. And I would recommend this movie to anyone and everyone. Wonderful movie. At first, it may seem exaggerating, Elle's reactions and all the celebration that is going on. But trust me, it's it just directly showcases that we live in such a cold and hostile world. Like, we are not empathetic at all about others' emotions. We are not, like, we don't want to deal with emotions. We live in such a world, and that's a pathetic position to be. Trust me, psychologically, it's very harmful to not regulate your emotions, not express them at all. So, it's a wonderful movie. Yeah, so that was the discussion. It it actually went longer than I thought it would, but yeah, I liked that movie that much. So go watch it if you haven't watched it completely, and take care. Bye.